Hey Channel Insiders, welcome back to Channel Insider Partner POV, your source for untapped opportunities and unfiltered opinions in the IT channel, all to help you make better business decisions. I'm your host, Katie Bavoso. My guest today is Terry Richardson, CRO of solution provider Blue Mantis. While Terry is celebrating 1 year at Blue Mantis, he has actually spent decades working in channel, sales, and leadership roles at some of the largest vendors in the industry. The key word in today's interview is definitely intention, and you'll see just how it plays into many of Terry's business decisions and his approach to leading. Welcome, Terry. It's so good to see you.
Thanks, Katie. Really nice to see you as well.
Terry and I go way back. I've been working in this space for about 5 years. And Terry, you've been working in it a little bit longer than that. And so you've known me my entire channel career. It feels so good to be able to see you in this position. And this is the first time that we're getting to speak on the side of where you're in the solution provider seat. It's about 1 year for you as CRO at Blue Mantis. How's it going?
It's gone by very quickly. It's really been a fun year. Learning a lot. I can say I have newfound appreciation for the challenges for working on this side of the channel. It's my first solution provider role. The rest has been on the vendor side, but it's really been fascinating. Met a lot of great people, learning some new skills and capabilities. So really enjoying myself.
And I love the modesty, Terry. You're like, oh, I've spent time on the vendor side. Huge names, AMD, HPE, HP at one point in your career as well. So I will be making sure I ask you more about that experience as we go on. But for the audience that's listening or watching that doesn't know Terry, you will and you should by the end of this episode. But let's talk about the solution provider that you're with right now, Blue Mantis. Would you mind telling me in your own words what Blue Mantis is for those who are listening and may not know? What services and solutions do you offer, and who are the customers and the verticals that you typically serve?
Yeah, so there's a lot there, but let me kind of give you the elevator pitch. So Blue Mantis is a security first IT services and solutions company. We offer a variety of IT services, really spread across 7 technology practice areas. But cybersecurity is probably our strongest, and sadly, given the state of the world, probably the most interesting. But really strong cloud skills, really strong data center skills. We have some endpoint capabilities, networking capabilities, and even carrier services capabilities where, much like we do on the cloud side, we help customers control their telecommunications spend. So we look for ways to help companies find ways to save money and reinvest in new technologies. We sell to companies that range from SMB to enterprise. We tend to focus geographically on the Eastern Seaboard in the U.S., although we have customers all across the country and into Canada as well. We focus across verticals, public sector, healthcare, financial services, manufacturing. Probably would represent some of the larger verticals where we have a concentration of customers, but no explicit focus on any one vertical.
And for transparency reasons, and just because I think it's so interesting, I used to be a customer of Blue Mantis at one point in my career,
right.
not long ago. So, Terry, let's talk about the Blue Mantis in the room, because that name actually changed about a year ago. This July in 2024 will mark 1 year as Blue Mantis, the company going by Green Pages for almost 30 years until that name
Correct.
kicked in. Can you talk to me a little bit about what does that change represent for the company, and how do you feel you've settled into the initiatives as Blue Mantis over the last year?
So I think it's really been fascinating to kind of go through, because it happened right after I joined the company, the rebrand. It was 2 months after I joined. I knew coming in that was going to happen. But going through the experience was really good. It was really an opportunity to redefine the company. Green Pages, as you said, was around for a little over 30 years and had really built a pretty strong reputation. But when I talk to people about being at the company, Blue Mantis, formerly Green Pages, it was always, oh, I remember Green Pages, and it was always a reference that might have been 10 or 15 years old. So it was really a good time because the company's evolved a lot. At the earliest of the Green Pages days, it was a data center focused VAR that really saw its most rapid growth during the explosion of VMware. Virtualization and the company's technical heritage really showed through, and companies really got to know Green Pages oftentimes because of our capabilities around virtualization and some other things. But as the years have gone on, the company's changed a lot. We've done some acquisitions. We've brought in new talent. So it's a really good time to reposition the companies. It was a great opportunity to just rebrand and then redefine who we are now and where we're going and what companies should come to expect from us. So it was almost like a restart, but with 30 years of history, launching a new company. So all the excitement of something new, gave us a great opportunity to just go back out into our current customers and to our prospective customers to redefine who we are today, what our core capabilities are, where our value will be delivered, and how we're differentiated. So it's been nice, and thankfully the response has been overwhelmingly positive. And we've done things through sponsorship and marketing events and social to really try to get the name out there. So I think most people probably think we're actually a lot bigger than we are, just because of the work that the marketing team did to really get the name out.
Yeah, I think your marketing team did a great blitz on that because, again, having been a former client and knowing that Green Pages was around for so long, now I barely remember that name. Blue Mantis is definitely at the forefront when I think about your company. And as you said, Terry, your tenure at Blue Mantis goes almost hand in hand with the Blue Mantis identity itself. You started a year ago this month as CRO of Blue Mantis. Congratulations, by the way, on 1 year.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And at the time of when you started, you were coming from a background of decades spent at many of the largest vendor companies in the channel and tech space in general. Again, HPE, AMD, you operated in many channel positions within those companies. How does your experience working inside some of those massive vendors in the channel make your presence at Blue Mantis a differentiator for the company?
Yeah, so I've been fortunate to work for some terrific companies, both in partner-facing as well as customer-facing roles. So I've been able to bring a external perspective and some new ideas into the company. I think that was one of the reasons they were interested in bringing me on board. Um, I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot. I've done a lot over my time in the industry, and this is a nice way to kind of bring it all together. Um, Best practices on how to lead a sales organization, how to develop go-to-market strategies. But I also have very keen awareness from the view of a vendor. What does a good solution provider partnership look like?
Mhm.
How do you differentiate? How do you make sure that you're entering into a partnership that's all based upon a win-win type outcome? So, I've had the luxury of deep meeting and spending a lot of quality time with literally hundreds and hundreds of companies that look a lot like Blue Mantis in some way, shape, or form. So I've been able to, in my year's time, influence some of the things that we're doing so that we can become an even better partner to some of those that we rely on. So it's been really good. I've been able to bring my sales experience to bear to make sure we're positioned to accelerate our growth, and I've been able to bring personal and business relationships on the vendor side to help solidify some of those partnerships. Because, as I said before, the company's been in transition. We started out as a data center VAR, and now we're 50% plus recurring revenue. So we've made that shift from VAR to MSP, and we continue, but there's still, because it's a hybrid world, it's not only about managed services and cloud services. There's still a lot of opportunity for helping clients with their on-prem infrastructure and a lot of great vendor solution capabilities there. So it's not an either or to me, it's a both. And it's one of the things that sets Blue Mantis apart is we're really strong in kind of legacy world as well as kind of more the modern. modern world.
And you mentioned something really interesting about what a solution provider, a good solution provider, is supposed to look like to a vendor and supposed to do according to a vendor. With that said, now that you're on the opposite side and you're looking at vendors to partner with, what can a vendor do to be able to entice Blue Mantis and you as a partner? Are there any things that you look for specifically now that you like, that is a great vendor? That is somebody we should do business with?
Well, definitely real engagement, executive level, all the way down through field and functional relationship levels. That's important. Needs to be an appetite for co-investment, and really working on a well-defined plan. I will tell you one of my key learnings being on this side of the relationship is, there's a lot of things to sell, right? I mentioned 7 technology practice areas, right? And some of the vendor relationships might only be in one practice area. So you're really vying for the attention of the solution provider because there's multiple solutions that the field has to know and has to be able to position to their customers. And it can be cybersecurity in the morning, something, network related lunchtime, and then maybe cloud related in the afternoon. And the sales team jumps from kind of topic to topic. So it's hard to get locked in. So being intentional is what I'm trying to bring in terms of Blue Mantis. We could sell anything, right? We're, through distribution, we could sell anything the customer wants. But to be a really good partner, we have to be intentional. So we've definitely focused on certain partnerships that we think are well suited to the types of solutions that our customers are looking for. And that should give us the ability to show that we're not only a committed but a competent partner, because there's always a lot of required trainings and certifications and things you need to do just to stay current with the vendor programs. So we can't do that across 80 or 100 or 200 partnerships, but we've really boiled it down to 8 or 10 that really are going to be more impactful, for us where we are today.
I love what you say about being intentional because I think that it goes right with what you were saying about not spreading yourselves too thin because you can offer anything. You're right. Through distribution and cloud marketplaces, there are plenty of opportunities to answer the call. But when it comes to making sure you're being intentional and really good, that does boil down to making sure that your circle is small but mighty.
And it's not just on the partner side, but as I address my sales organization, I want them to be intentional. And unlike being on the vendor side, where there's a limited number of things that vendor manufacturers that you can sell, here, getting the sales team that's typically motivated and compensated based around gross profit. There's lots of ways to generate gross profit. Getting them to be intentional was a little bit heavier lift than I had anticipated. So I can't say the work is done. We've made good progress.
Mindset.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you're doing, and maybe it goes back to how you've been changing that intentional motion and approach in your company, but is there anything that you're doing to strengthen that trust with your customers since coming on board at Blue Mantis?
Yeah, I think, fortunately, a lot of the transformation work had been started and was well underway before I got here, so I didn't have to do anything dramatically different. But my role was to come in and just kind of bring in acceleration and a scale to the business. So the good news is a lot of the hard things were done. The company's fortunate to have relationships with customers that go back many, many years. Some of them go back all the way to the start of Green Pages year one. And trust is really earned, right? So we talked a little bit earlier about cybersecurity, for example, right? And if you do a good job on cybersecurity, that earns you a lot of trust because, the consequences of getting that wrong are really bad. We do a lot of managed services work. I mentioned that, right? So companies are relying on us to run a portion or all of their IT. That builds trust. And so I think it's bringing the right competent resources to the table that not only do what they're asked to do, but are savvy enough to know what good looks like and what the company should be doing, whether they're asking for it or not. So really, we don't take lightly the role of trusted advisor, but we aspire to live up to that each and every customer engagement.
Speaking of some of the changes and some of the intentional changes that have been made, not only since you've been at Blue Mantis, but prior to you getting there when the wheels were already going on that, lots of changes to the C-suite of Blue Mantis. I follow you on LinkedIn, Terry, and I feel like your fingers must be tired because I just see update after update, and there's so many congratulations being thrown out because you've got a new CEO, a new COO, a new and the first ever at Blue Mantis CMO. So why all these changes and additions, and what are you building to?
We're continuing to either attract external talent like me coming in from the outside or develop internally. So I can hit each one a little bit differently. The CEO had been with the company 5 years, so he was elevated, from frankly CRO to CEO. So that was kind of a well-planned transition, not a sudden abrupt thing. And the prior CEO did a fabulous job getting our company to a point, but was ready to go do something different. So there was a nice succession plan. The CRO was elevated. He had been with the company about 4 years, formerly serving as CIO and CISO. So he added some additional responsibilities to his plate. CMO was also newer hire, little less than 2 years, but kind of developed and grown from within. So we tend to look to bring in talent because you're frankly only as good as your people. But we're also trying to put people in roles. I believe in the adage, right people, right role, right time. And as we are scaling this business, it's nice to have people that have a background that's not only diverse, but is rich in experience to kind of bring that to the table as we set our path to continue to grow and scale. So it's been nice to see. They're great people, and I'm fortunate to have really good colleagues, and we're continuing to bring in new people as well.
I'm only halfway through my conversation with Terry Richardson. Come back on Tuesday for part 2. Thanks so much to Terry for joining me today, and thank you for watching or listening. You can check out all episodes of Channel Insider Partner POV on our website, channelinsider.com, or watch on our YouTube page at channelinsider_news and trends. You can also listen to us in podcast format on your favorite podcast listening platform. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to never miss an episode. You can also connect with Channel Insider on LinkedIn and X, or with me at Katie Bavoso. Once again, I'm your host, Katie Bavoso, and I'll see you next time.